Hey, we're gonna watch Lauren again. I have not watched a Lauren video in a while. That was by design because she is insufferable. But I was intrigued by this. The title of this video is Vice Exposes Right-Wing Women. Probably not the kind of expose I would like to see, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, let's just do it.
Hey, Lauren here. Let's talk.
Whoa! That was a very strange intro. Lauren.
Hey, Lauren here.
Lauren? What the fuck?
Hey, Lauren here. Let's talk about those stupid, sexy right-wing women. We have a video today from Vice that we will be going over together. And, you know, I used to go to Vice for a lot of my content, but honestly, they kind of dropped off the radar for me, at least for the past year or so.
That's really weird because Vice is a very profitable company that's increasing in popularity and makes pretty in-depth documentaries about all sorts of shit and go all over the world investigating things. Weird.
But it was nice to be reminded that they're still up to their old tricks, because the other day, Lauren Southern shared a new video of theirs titled The Rise of Far-Right Female Influencers, Decade of Hate. And for the thumbnail, they used this photo of Lauren Southern that was taken from a shoot where she has like those two rifles and she's wearing this American bandana. And to their credit, I guess this was an effective way to market this video, because I knew just from seeing that, the title, the thumbnail image, I knew I was gonna watch it, and yes, even make a video about it. And
okay. Yeah, I mean, Vice is very good at marketing for sure. And this is just going to help them, show more of this documentary, which is great. Like the kind of Lauren Southern, Lauren Chen, like them putting this out there is not really even to not really even counter it, because I think anybody with half a brain cell is probably not going to be very convinced by it. This is just signaling to their audience, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. We'll see how well she does. So
essentially, it's everything you would expect. It's far-left Vice being angry that actually right-wing female influencers are being successful in spreading conservatism. They are gaining big platforms, and some of them are also showing the world how great it can be to be a stay-at-home mom.
Wow. Okay. That's a weird fucking thing to say, because none of these people make content about being a stay-at-home mom and being the dishwasher is just so great. It's usually just videos about cruelty, and just being a jackass to everybody. Sure, that's what this is about. Sure.
Yeah, they're strangely upset about the trad wife phenomenon, because how dare these women not be slaves to their 9 to 5. Anyway, we're going to be going over it together, but before we do, I want to say a big
Nope, no free sponsorship boosting on this. And what is she selling? Oh, gold. Jesus fucking Christ.
Great way to do both at the same time. Now, let's just jump right into it and see what our friends over at Vice have to say.
Let's just jump into it.
Traditionally, the far right has been a male-dominated and often openly misogynistic space.
Feminism is cancer. Thank you very much.
But in recent years, at least on the surface, something has changed.
At its core, feminism is ideological poison.
I wonder if Lauren Chen's gonna address the fact that Brittany Sellner was in there. That's quite a one.
Across the world, women have emerged as key figures in far-right movements, playing a central role in softening the image and broadening the appeal of extremist politics.
So right off the bat, something that immediately bothered me about this video, and this is something that left-wing media publications are becoming increasingly comfortable with, is the fact that they mix in conservatives and just generally right-wing people with far-right figures.
Okay, that's a really interesting one. I wonder if she's going to point out which ones in specific, and I want to see if she does before I comment. Hang on.
If you're familiar at all with Brittany Sellner's work, you will know that she is not far-right.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? She's saying Brittany Sellner isn't far right? What? Go ahead.
He's just a regular conservative and a traditional Catholic. In this video,
okay, Brittany Sellner is banned from traveling in several different fucking countries. She was involved with no less than 3 extreme far-right militia groups. Her husband, Martin Sellner, is a fucking neo-Nazi who got arrested for spray painting swastikas in synagogues. In what fucking world? In what fucking world is this empty-headed brainlet able to, with a straight fucking face, say that Brittany Sellner, out of everybody in that video, is not far right, when she's literally married to a fucking neo-Nazi and pushes neo-Nazi goddamn rhetoric? What in the fuck? This is telling on herself so much that saying that that is just a regular conservative, that's not a dismissal of the claim. It's just saying that mainstream conservatism is now far right, which is true. Like, what the fuck, dude?
video also takes a lot of shots at Georgia Maloney. They call her far right. They call her a
Georgia Maloney is literally a fucking fascist. Like, literally. Like actually. And is involved with a legit fascist organization. What are you fucking doing? You dumb fuck.
fascist, but they never actually provide any evidence that she is a fascist. In fact, the worst that they could find on Georgia Maloney is this one clip of her saying that Benito Mussolini was a good politician. And it's like, I'm sorry, but that in and of itself doesn't prove that someone is a fascist.
Well, okay, no. Her political policies are pretty much right there. Like, right there. Right there. One of her closest cabinet, I'm not really sure on how Italy does like their members and everything like that, is literally a fucking descendant of Mussolini. Like,
Moi, je crois que Mussolini, c'était un bon politicien. C'est-à-dire que tout ce qu'il a fait, il a fait pour l'Italie.
I think that someone is
everything he did was for Italy, like throwing people out of fucking. Well, no, that was Pinochet. Nah. Well, okay. Listen, he was just doing it for the good of Italy. You know, some people used to say there was somebody who did things for the good of Germany. You know, there was an emperor who was just doing the good things for Japan. Like, what in the fuck?
good politician without agreeing with them. I don't agree with Hitler on like anything, but he was.
Wasn't Georgia Maloney inspired by Stephen Miller, who's Jewish? Which Stephen Miller are you talking about? If you're talking about Stephen Miller that was working in the White House, no. That dude does not get to claim to be a Jew. Also, who gives a fuck if somebody's a Jew? You could be a fascist Jew. That is 100% correct. Like, no, stop. Sit down. No.
Was still elected as chancellor. That means that you are a good politician. Same with Joe Biden. I don't like him, but he's been a career politician. He's been in Washington for decades. Clearly a good politician. I just feel like if there were some smoking gun of Georgia Maloney actually believing that, yes, let's round up all of the migrants and just throw them into space on a rocket ship, like they would have used that. And the fact that they don't kind of says to me that they're probably making stuff up like they do about everybody. This video also...
Look, I'm gonna have to, look, I really don't want to have to get into this, but Stephen Miller, because you're in the chat and you are saying something that is demonstrably wrong, I'm gonna have to tell you right now, Stephen Miller, unironically, full-throated, pushed literally people who are avowed and declared white nationalists pushed their fucking books and then was inspired specifically by those books to push the zero tolerance policy against immigration that they were trying to do under Trump's regime. The fucking rounding up of like people on the border, like all sorts of crazy ass shit. No, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. I don't give a fuck if he might be in some way blood relation of Jewish. He's a fucking Nazi, dude. Like, there's no reason to try and cut like some credit to a dude that literally pushes that kind of shit. It's fucking wild. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stop.
Also spends a lot of time smearing Marine Le Pen, who I'm a fan of for
Also
most
a
issues,
fascist.
and who know I do not think is far right. And actually, kind of hilariously,
Oh
this
God.
is one of the clips that Vice uses in order to support the idea that Le Pen is far right.
In France, Marine Le Pen, head of the far-right National Rally, has established herself as the leading rival to President Emmanuel Macron.
Le Pen is known for her far-right stances, like restricting immigration and banning Muslim women from wearing headscarves in public.
Since when is restricting immigration a far-right stance?
Complete and utter shutdown of immigration is, yes, a far-right stance. Yes, it is. Like, shut it all down, build the wall, cancel all immigration, period. Yes, that is far-right. Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Marine Le Pen doesn't even say that she wants to end all immigration completely.
Yes, she has. Yes, she has.
Or that she wants to do something like only allow immigration based on racial characteristics. I mean,
yes, she has. Yes, she has. These are all things that Marie Le Pen have literally done. She has literally done these things.
Just wanting less immigration and no illegal immigration. 10 years ago, I'm pretty sure that was just like a centrist regular position, but now all of a sudden it's escalated to being far right.
If you were telling the truth, then yeah, you might have an argument in that way, but holy shit, Lauren, what the fuck?
Kidding me? And actually wanting to ban headscarves is something that I disagree with when it comes to right-wing parties and politicians in France. And I feel like that anti-Islam stance they have is basically backlash due to France's just out of control immigration. But as someone who—
Oh, I see. It's really, if you think about it, it's the Arab people's fault. I don't know. Fuck it, whatever. But at least Lauren is consistent in one decent position, which is forcing people to wear or not wear something is bad. Okay, I agree with Lauren. She gets one. There you go.
Who takes religious freedom and just individual freedom very seriously, I think wanting to ban something like a headscarf is just a gross violation. And I would say the same thing if it was someone trying to ban Christians from wearing crosses or headscarves, because some Christians, they do cover their hair. I mean, look at nuns. Or if it was banning Jewish men from wearing the yarmulke. I'm not okay with that. So yeah, let's call Marine Le Pen out if that's what she believes, but that's not really in and of itself a far-right policy. Just look at Quebec.
Quebec has their own issues, but whatever, it's fine.
Quebec is annoyingly secular to the point where they have banned any government employee from wearing any type of religious symbol, including a headscarf. And before you start agreeing with Quebec here, just note that Quebec has one of the highest ratios of public to private sector workers, so much so that basically if you work in the medical industry, if you are a teacher, if you are a garbage man, essentially this ban on religious symbols applies to you. So yeah, it's a bad policy, but it's not a far-right policy. It's a secular authoritarian policy. Moving.
I think that like it would probably be a better situation to make it more like policymakers, the people that are like explicitly in control of either managerial or legislative process. Probably should not signal their religion, to maintain the sense of law is based on secular argumentation rather than whatever some dusty old book says. I'm fine with them setting that restriction, and if you want to wear your religious garment after you're off of shift or something like that, that's fine. But yeah, like if it's true, I don't even know, because Lauren lies all the fucking time. Like a garbage man can't like wear a cross around his neck or something. That's dumb. That just seems overreaching,
Moving along, honestly, the bulk of this video is comprised of Vice complaining that female right-wing influencers or politicians are actually kind of attractive by and large, and that, these women's feminine wiles, it actually makes right-wing policies and positions more appealing to the general public.
It's supposed to seem less odious when they talk about, white superiority.
Yes, it's certainly true that the presence of women kind of humanizes and also almost justifies a
white nationalist right there, fucking he's just straight up saying it. But look here, this is driving me nuts. Because there is a debate going on in the chat about, like, you know, it's impossible to have a Jewish Holocaust denier. Look, David Irving. Google David Irving. He is a Jewish writer, and he 100% has written Holocaust denialism. So, like, just saying that it's impossible is not necessarily true. It absolutely can happen. It does happen. The one thing that you really want to take away from me saying this is never, ever, ever consider the fact that it's impossible for someone to believe something that is drastically against their own self-interest. It happens all the time. If you need an example, Kanye loves Hitler, and Hitler would have probably gassed Kanye. It's possible. And David Irving is not a stupid man. He is not a stupid man. Like, he's a very intelligent person who believes a very wrong and gross thing. So,
movement.
Yeah, it makes it softer to hear. It's easier for people to hear a hard message when it's a soft, good-looking woman saying it.
Showing the ways in which, you know, there's actually more familiarity, more similarity between, you know, what the far right believes and what mainstream conservatives believe, I think is really crucial.
There's this narrative throughout this video that not only are conservative female hate influencers getting more popular because of their looks, but also...
That's true. That's 100% true. I would love for you to show me an ugly one. That'd be great. That'd be super great. Yeah. Yep. 100%.
That the far right is really only tolerating them because they can cynically use them in order to push their messaging.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, that's 100% true as well. Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. Absolutely. Like, the thing is too, historically speaking, there was what's her fucking name? Tara McCarthy. Tara McCarthy was a rising star in far right spaces until she left because of how badly she was treated. And a lot of that was because she was biracial, and I believe she's part Pakistani, I think. Something like that. And the shit that her fan base would say to her got under her skin so fucking bad. But the thing is, Tara McCarthy is a stupid person. She's a very dumb person. She equated interracial sex as bestiality. Yeah, she's a fucking gross-ass piece of shit. But look, the thing is, she was just dumb enough and just not quite popular enough to know that that's how the game works. That's how you make the money. See? And so she made this big public thing about, like, and it was called the alt-right back then. If the alt-right really does hate women, then I want out. And so she left. Wah, wah.
And this argument coming from the left, I find just so ironic. I mean, the progressive left are constantly complaining that such and such campaign or film isn't representative enough, and that in order for people to get on board with a message or a company or an ideology, whatever it may be, they need to see themselves in it. And I mean, that's exactly where diversity quotas come from for things like advertising or heck, even executives, so that, you know, a black woman can believe, oh, I can be a CEO too because, you know, Oprah exists or whatever it is. So for
What's wrong with that? I don't know.
the left then to turn around and look at conservative women and think, oh, well, you're only being used so you can spread your message. It's like, even if that were true,
which it is.
Be the problem with it? That's what you do all the time. Are you just mad that the right is actually being effective for once in actually reaching women and encouraging women to become more politically and socially conservative? And second,
I'm pretty sure that they have a problem with it because it's well, first of all, I don't think most women watch Lauren Chen. I think if we saw the breakdown on her channel, overwhelmingly male audience. Overwhelmingly. I have, when you look at the metrics on my YouTube channel, I have more women that watch my channel than men. And it's because I'm fucking sexy. But look, I think they have a problem with it because if you are trying to encourage young women, to be motivated against their own self-interest, that's a bad thing. It's a bad thing.
Assertion that audience or voters would mostly or even largely be attracted to right-wing female figures just because of their looks, it's offensive. It's flat out demeaning and—
Oh, you're offended. Oh dear. Goodness. We don't want Lauren to be offended. Well, Lauren, I gotta tell you, I've been making videos about you for a while, and I know you from like real life. I've spoken with you and hung out with you in real life, and they're not watching you for your fucking brains, because you're dumb. You're very dumb, and you're wrong, and you lie. So they watch you for one of two reasons. One, you confirm their biases, and it makes them feel comfortable. Or two, because they like the way you look. Take your pick.
And yes, I will say sexist. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Southern, that, by the way, this video spends a lot of time attacking, they have so much more to bring to the table than just their looks or their gender.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is a fucking... Look, I try not to say whether somebody's ugly. You know, I don't really want to disparage anyone, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is a fucking ogre, okay? She's a fucking ogre. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I will be fucking mean to her as much as I fucking want because she is an absolutely intolerable, shitty human being.
They actually have ideas that they are pushing. They're talking about issues like immigration, issues like the Second Amendment. It's kind of funny that when faced with these strong women with these huge platforms, Vice's first instinct, instead of to actually tackle what they're saying, is to comment on their looks and their gender. And just—
It doesn't seem like they did that. It seems like they are saying it's a very effective marketing ploy to utilize women. And then they suggest that that might be part of the popularity. But whatever.
So much of Vice's video comes across as being salty that, yeah, people like Lauren Southern, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're using strategies, marketing strategies, and social media strategies that, by the way, the left has been using forever for their own gains because, oh, the horror that finally the right is starting to understand the game.
I think the right is even better at it than the left is, actually. This is you're trying to put the right into a position of weakness on this, and that's just not true. That's not true at all. It's very strange.
Leftist advice would just be so happy, and they want so badly for this new generation of right-wing conservatives, some of whom, yes, are women, if they would just embrace the normie techniques of yesteryear. I mean, how great would it be, and how easy would they be to defeat if right-wingers just got off platforms like Twitter and stopped posting on YouTube, and they just kind of relegated themselves to libraries and PBS.
What in the fuck are you even talking about? What even fucking argument is that? Who thinks that? I have no fucking idea what she's trying to say here. Like, nobody thinks that that's reasonable or it would happen. It's so weird. It's so fucking weird. What?
Sorry guys, that's not going to happen. We understand how the internet works largely better than you, in fact, which is why leftists now have to resort to things like shadow banning and online censorship.
Oh yeah, all the leftists that are in control of the shadow banning and and censorship. Yeah, all those leftist corporations. You know, and it's one of those things that's so fucking annoying. The dumb fucks like Lauren here always want to say that every corporation is a leftist corporation, the tech bros of this, the tech bros of that. But you look and see what they actually try and push and lobby for, and it's all based on business. It's all based on capitalism. It's all based on them trying to make the most amount of money. They don't give a fuck. The whole thing of like every brand during Pride Month, you know, changing to a fucking rainbow and everything. It's just marketing. It's all fucking marketing. These corporations are not lefty. They're just not. They don't give a fuck, man.
Just in order to stifle the right-wing message, which, yes, is growing. And if it were left to grow organically, it would have overtaken the left by now. Next up.
No. Sorry. No. I really don't understand. Again, when you're talking about progressivism versus conservatism, one is trying to slam the brakes and stop everything from progressing as much as possible. The other is what keeps going forward. That's one of the reasons why conservatism is always on the defensive, because it's a defensive stance based out of fear. Fear. And to say that, the world, not just America, but the world is leaving conservatism behind is true. It's 100% true. And in response, conservatism and the right are going further right in a desperate effort to try and fight against it.
Up in this video, though, the target turns toward trad wives. Yeah, the real scourge of the earth, those political extremists, women who stay home to take care of their families.
Alongside the anti-feminist rhetoric from influencers has been the growth of an entire online subculture known as trad wives, who actively reject pursuing their own careers or independence in favor of raising families and submitting to their husbands.
Don't listen to this narrative of feminism that is killing white Western society. Don't buy into it.
I just love the menacing music playing in the background and the intimidating filter over the footage as the guy talks about they stay home and don't have careers of their own, instead wanting to raise children, as if it's...
That's dishonest framing. Like, that was a clip from Wife with a Purpose, and Wife with a Purpose, like, legitimately tries to encourage women to be disempowered. And, I mean, like, look, if you want to be a trad wife, be a fucking trad wife. Whatever. Who gives a shit? You know, be whatever the fuck you want to be. If you want to have a career, have a career. But the thing is, the leftist message is be empowered to do whatever you want. You shouldn't have to be compelled to have to be a trad wife if you don't want to. You have potential, and if you want to exercise that potential, you should do it. That's a good message. The right, far right position is you should be a trad wife. That is valuable. That is what you should do. That is your role in society. One embraces the nature of freedom. The other embraces authoritarianism and anti-choice. Like, this isn't fucking hard. It's not hard.
It's just some predatory evil thing we're talking about here. When really, if you're familiar at all with trad wife accounts, these women post about things like sewing and cooking and church. I want to mention here that another figure that pops up throughout this video is Ayla, or Wife with a Purpose, if you follow her on Instagram. Now, she is someone who has spoken very vocally, at least in the past, not as much now, correct me if I'm wrong, but about issues surrounding white people specifically, and anti-white discrimination and white erasure. And people advice would absolutely say that that makes Ayla a racist, but if you follow her account, you will know that she does not think that being pro her culture and her ancestry, her heritage, means by default being anti everyone else's. And
that's called a dog whistle. That is signaling a very specific message without having to openly say it. Yeah, that's just a fucking dog whistle. Especially like saying like, yeah, you don't have to feel bad about being erased. Yeah, sure, I agree. But then you start saying shit like white erasure. White erasure. That's a dog whistle. That's a fucking dog whistle. That's fascist fucking rhetoric. Like, unabashedly fascist fucking rhetoric. Like, what the fuck, dude? It's so fucking crazy. Oh my God. There's a difference between supporting a culturally conservative society and authoritarianism. No, there isn't. Very few support passing laws forcing people to be trad wives. Culturally conservative does not mean legislatively conservative. There is a difference there. Yes, there is an authoritarian nature by which you are trying to compel people. It doesn't have to be a law for it to be authoritarian. All it has to be is compulsion, societal, systemic compulsion. It's still authoritarian. Absolutely. If somebody's trying to convince you otherwise, they are trying to weasel their way into making an excuse. Simple as that.
Ayla has spoken.
Was Lauren ever a decent person? Was she always a grifter? She was always a grifter. She's always a piece of shit.
Before about how she thinks that traditional living is great for everybody. So many different cultures, no matter what race you are. These are values that can bring us together and that can also strengthen your own families. And so I guess the question becomes, is it racist to be pro-white like people are pro-black, pro-Asian, or pro-Hispanic? And I think it's
you'd have to ask the person what they mean by it. That's what you'd have to do. I tend to believe, as the staunch lefty Antifa super soldier, that being pro blank race is usually not a great thing to say. Not a great thing. Now, if you mean I am pro equality and this is a disadvantaged racial group, so I am pro them, you can say that and it doesn't sound shitty anymore. But you have to say that whole thing, you know? Like, but just saying just flat out blank blank, like it when you say you're pro this, the things that are around it but similar, it's kind of insinuating that you are more that than them, and that not a good look. Not what you should do. So it's coding your language appropriately so people don't get things twisted up.
It's pretty obvious what the people over at Vice believe. And next, the, I guess, expert that they interview for this video, she goes on to, you guessed it, complain that tradwife accounts are actually making the stay-at-home mom life look fun and appealing, which I suppose is bad because then other women might also want to stay home and raise families, which is, they think it's bad, clearly.
No, nobody thinks being a trad wife is bad. I think they think that being compulsed into being a trad wife is bad.
I'm still confused as to why.
The trad movement is this movement to celebrate women who are in traditional roles.
But I mean, even in Israel, they stigmatize Jewish-Gentile relationships, and many rabbis have compared intermarriage and assimilation to the Holocaust. Why do they get to have blood pride but not whites? Well, first of all, I don't live in Israel, so I can't necessarily be like, I am going to vote against that because I'm not there. But if you're asking what my opinion is on that kind of attitude, I think it's fucked. I think it's fucked. Like, but also, when you say, but not whites, you need to stop using that language too, because you're sounding really dumb. Really dumb. Why not say, because you're insinuating that, first of all, Israel, Jew, race, Jew versus white as race, and not talking about these are locations of culture. These are countries, nations, things like that. And they are going to be wildly different depending on their cultural perspectives. If you're asking if I think that cultural perspective in Israel is okay, no, I think it's fucked. But was I supposed to think that it is okay or something? No, fuck that shit. That's fucked up. I think it's bullshit. Yeah, all ethno-stating is bad. Yes, all ethno-stating is bad. Not good. I'm very comfortable with that position.
You are creating content that celebrates, that, highlights how good the trad life is. It's making traditional gender roles seem appealing, seem cool, seem a part of the future. But if you really spend time with it, and you look at some of these, Instagram accounts or TikToks, what you'll realize is it's as much about what it's against as what it's for.
Absolutely love that the foreboding music is still going strong over the footage of the 1950s housewife, baking. What are you doing?
So what? That's weird. Anybody opposing intermarriage is a shithead, okay? Anybody that opposes interracial marriage is a shithead. I don't give a fuck what they identify as, what their racial group might be. I don't care. They're just a shithead. Simple as that. Simple. We really don't have to talk about it any further, okay? From the chat, no. Anyway, go ahead, Lauren.
Putting that casserole in the oven? You gotta run out to the streets, start participating in sex work, get your abortions, sleep around.
What is this? Where is this coming from, Lauren? Nobody said anything like that. Nobody said anything like that at all. This is so fucking dumb.
Enter a job that makes you unhappy because you have to work so much and you just don't want to. Come on, Becky. Let's go with that female empowerment. But yeah, I guess it's not necessarily inaccurate to say that tradwife accounts also have things that they are against in addition to things that they are for. They are against femininity. They are against progressive values. But I don't.
Often they're against women having the vote. That's a real fucking thing, dude. That's a real fucking thing. There are quite a few trad accounts, huge trad accounts, especially on Twitter, that advocate for women being stripped of their rights. It does exist. Sorry, it is a very large portion of that movement. Yeah, that's just true.
don't think being against a set of things is something unique to right-wing accounts. I mean, if you follow any feminist account, you will constantly hear down with the patriarchy, down with cis heteronormativity, down with white privilege. Is that not also being just as outspokenly against things as you are for things?
I don't think there's anything wrong with stating things that you're for or against. And when the left says like extremely hyperbolic stupid shit, you know what I do? I ignore it. Because largely, when they say that kind of shit, it is not coming from a place of like extreme platform and strength, like Tucker fucking Carlson, okay? Yeah. But I mean, if it does come from a place of strength, I'll oppose it. I will very vocally oppose it. 100%, of course.
And it's funny here because within this basically 40-second clip, this expert actually debunks her own assertion that women are just being used by right-wing movements and that they don't actually matter.
You'll start to see the ways in which being trad is also about being anti something, not just pro-tradition, but anti-progress. No role could be more important in the far right than being someone who is willing to uphold a society of traditional gender roles and to have children and raise children within that society.
So which is it?
So yeah, how is that a contradiction? What are you fucking talking about?
Is the right misogynistic and really only elevating female voices so that they can cynically convert other women to their hate club? Or does the right believe that mothers are basically the most important people in society and therefore should be valued?
They believe the first and they utilize the second as its marketing ploy. There's no contradiction here. There's no fucking contradiction. One is the public face of it, and the other is the explicit intent. How is that fucking hard? Like, what kind of wet brain listens to this argument and is like, yo, Lauren's right? What the fuck? This is so dumb.
And protected, because these two ideas are basically in opposition to each other. And honestly, you will not
really
find a group out there that is more genuinely pro-women than conservative Christian men who really just do everything that they can in their power in order to provide for and protect their families, including their wives. I mean, I know the people advice probably have this idea where for a man to be pro-woman, it means he has to identify as a male feminist and, secretly try to date, rape, and sexually harass all the women around him. And
wow, this is quite a statement. This is quite a straw man here. Okay. Wow. Like, this is a joke that was kind of formed like 5 years ago, and here's Lauren still stuck in the fucking past.
And just use progressive feminism as kind of like a guise in order to sneak under the radar. But I guess that just illustrates the different ways that the ideologies go about things. And I guess to finish things off, Vice actually tries to assert that people like Marine Le Pen are co-opting feminism by highlighting the fact that migrants are disproportionately responsible for sexual assaults against women, specifically in Europe.
Le Pen has even tried to co-opt feminist arguments, pitching her anti-immigrant rhetoric as a defense of women's rights.
A day after the allegations of mass sexual assault were made public, Cologne continues to search for the perpetrators and for answers.
On New Year's Eve 2015, large numbers of women were sexually assaulted by groups of male immigrants. Far-right parties immediately seized on this to amplify panic about the so-called European migration crisis.
Now, this part of the video really just
I would really like to see more of the context in this. I remember that happening, and that was really shocking. Really, really fucking shocking, and it was not good. Nobody, even if they opposed the like very hardline stance that the far right took about it, nobody on the left was like, nah, everything's fine. Like, nobody.
Confused me and honestly kind of shocked me that Vice would be so bold as to try to say that it's actually a feminist principle to believe that women should not be raped.
That's not what was said, you fucking lying dumb fuck. Wow, that is not what was said.
Like, okay, you guys know that rape being a crime has existed for centuries, thousands of years, way before feminism. Like, the idea that, hey, rape bad, that is not something that feminism brought to the table.
But wait. I think Lauren is confused here, because what they were talking about is Marie Le Pen co-opted this whole situation and said that it was actually a feminist position to be against these rapes, and thus that's why she needed her hardline immigration halting. Like Marie Le Pen is the one that tried to attribute rape bad, thus our position is a feminist position of halting all migration. Like, she's literally arguing against the thing that she's supposed to be defending. That is literally happening right now, and it's entirely because her head is so fucking empty, she doesn't even know what the fuck she's talking about. This is so wild. This is so fucking wild. Oh my God, Lauren, how are you so bad at this? This is incredible. I mean, this happens like at least once. Every time I watch a Lauren video, she does this. She fucks up so bad that she ends up kicking her own ass. I shouldn't be this shocked, but this is insane.
And no, people on the right are not just being opportunistic when they say that sexual assaults happening at the hands of migrants are bad. Like, I know you don't like your political opponents, but you should still be able to believe that they genuinely do not want to see women raped. Like,
yeah, you can see her brain rebooting in real time. It's so crazy. And like this defense of it too, of this argument she shouldn't even be making in the first place, because she's self-defeating what she was even trying to say, because she doesn't understand the context of what she's even talking about, is that people accuse one side of politics of taking something that happened and using it as an excuse to push their political agenda. That's literally what politics is. That's what every fucking every political party and every politician does. Like, politics, like laws and legislation are utilized in responses to the way society is happening and the efforts and effects of what people want to see and change or maintain or persevere. Like, or preserve. That's literally what politics is. And it's so fucking crazy. Like, they're accusing them of doing politics, which they also do as politics. Yeah, no shit. Wow, that's fucking absolutely incredible, Lauren. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, no, I'm good. There's like a minute left in this, and she's just gonna like rant or something. I stumble through more of this. I'm done, dude. This is an absolutely brain fuckingly stupid goddamn video. And like, if ever there was a clear example of somebody who is not hired for their ability to communicate well or their intelligence, but purely based on their fucking looks, just saying.